Hey people, it's me again. So, anyways, um, one of the things that I want to talk about here, just to do another point of reference, as far as certain things were, you know, in the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, as far as that goes, because that's like the furthest I can go back as far as how my memory would serve me at that point there. So 35 years ago was the end of third grade, start of fourth grade, and then having to deal with that one teacher, Mr. Sims, just one last time as far as summer school is concerned. But I think that teacher was just a bit too abrasive, to say the least, as far as that goes, and I think that just caused a lot of problems here and there, so not that I really want to go into every detail about it, so 35 years ago, that's just like end of 8th grade going into freshman year of high school, and this was right when I was starting to become best friends with my old best friend Todd at the time, and that was just one of those little things again. And then of course 35 years ago was like, when we started to have like AOL and CompuServe and Prodigy, all that walled garden thing there. But it was also 30 years since we had like launch of Windows 95, and that was also a significant thing because that was probably a lot of other people's first Windows computer was Windows 95. Some would be a Windows 3.1 or 98 or ME or whatever. But for me, like when it came to 25 years ago, like the year 2000, so for me, I think that was like the summer of Seiken Densetsu 3 and Chrono Trigger and all these other video game ROMs that I downloaded back then, so that was just the thing there, but at that time I think I was also dealing with that therapist that just only wanted me to be doped up on Paxil, Zoloft, and Effexor or something like that, and call it a day. And I think that was just the biggest problem there, was that. And I think I just wanted something better than just pills and all of that. So, of course, 20 years ago was like 05 and all, but that was, for me, was like, that summer was just me kind of, getting over, what's his name, Eloy, the actor that I talked about earlier in my vlogs, where I always did like the air quotes of that sort. But I think at the time, I probably just wasn't really aware of it entirely just yet, but I think it was just that I just wanted to move on from Eloy and just wanted to have a clean break from him, but never really got that clean break for that matter, because because of all that drama, I suppose. But still, it took me a while for me to get over that guy there. And then let's see, 15 years ago, right around this time was when this channel, you know, the Rukai 99 channel had went down for community guideline strikes. And then I ended up making my Mr. Rukage's channel, you know, as my backup channel there that ended up becoming my main channel. So that was the thing here. So considering all of that, it was just the other thing that was going on at the time was I think I was just seeing that one guy I think was Drew there, but then I wasn't really even thinking of Ricky back then because I felt like, you know, I'm okay with not ever hearing from him ever again at that point, you know, because at that entire time, you know, Ricky had moved out of state without telling me and all of that, but then he wasn't like at liberty to tell me everything anyways, because after all, you know, I had been broken up for quite a bit at that point there, but still, I think I did wanted him back, but because of that, I was just angry and I didn't speak to him for more than a year or so, I think, because it wasn't until like the end of 2011 when I spoke to Ricky at one point, you know, so, and then I think at around 2012 was when he had wound his way back here, you know, but that was just another thing there. And then 10 years ago was after I broke up with Ricky for the last time, you know, and that was because I just gotten tired of him not prioritizing me and all that, but it doesn't necessarily mean I need to be completely center of attention kind of thing, you know. I just wanted to be his equal, you know. So that was just one of the things I had to kind of mention here. And then at that time, I think this was right when I was dating Raul, but then we just had some sort of minor disagreement and don't even remember exactly what it was, but then he ended up ghosting me there, and I just decided, you know, we'd forget about him after that, and after I didn't hear from him after a couple more months at that point, so that was like the other thing there. And then let's see, you know, I mean, I forgot how long was that then like 5 years ago, this was like the kind of like the end of the first part of the lockdowns and all of that, you know, was one thing there, and all this other stuff. So considering all of that, you know, with now it's like this might be like my last summer being in this place, because now that mom's getting ready to retire soon, and we're gonna go to that, you know, that retirement community, and so that's just another thing here. So I have to also think about, you know, what else I want to do here. You know what I mean? And then considering what's going to happen as far as, you know, not just 5 years from now, but 10 years from now when it's 2035, or 15 years from now in 2040, you know, once I'm like 59, almost 60, or even, you know, not only that, like 60 and even 60, 54, you know, that would be like, be another 64, it would be like another 20 years from now and all of that. You know, so considering all of that, you know, then I'm wondering if YouTube is still going to be here in about another 5, 10, 15 years from now at this point. You know, so that's like another thing. So, anyways, I guess that's probably it. So talk to you guys later.